This is the ATF. You might know them from hits such as Ruby Ridge, Waco, or Operation Fast and Furious.
Family.
Now, one might think that after all of those absolute disasters, the organization might have been removed. But nope, they are active as ever, making sure that they infringe on our rights as much as possible. Whether that is coming to your door without a warrant to see whether or not you bought something that they don't want you to have.
Verifying that you have it. You got 2 different purchases. If you have them, I'm out of here.
Or checking to see whether or not you still have a firearm that you bought, because apparently they need to know that.
Get on the ground!
10-3.
Get on the ground. I'm a federal agent.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Don't do this. Wait a second. I got a medical condition.
Okay, that one was kind of funny. The ATF is there to make sure that your rights are constantly under scrutiny. But what happens when the ATF decides that they are going to serve you a warrant? Well, under normal circumstances, the police would come to your door, knock, 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 and then they would say, "Hey, police, we have a warrant." At which point, the homeowner could then come to the door and let them search the property, if they actually have a warrant. But not the ATF, no. The ATF instead thinks it's a much better idea to break down your door at 6 in the morning without announcing themselves, causing a gunfight. Now that you're all caught up, this is Brian Malinowski. He's a gun collector who, like many collectors, engages in private sales to collect guns. The ATF, having been looking into Brian since November for some private gun sales that ended up being used by criminals down the road, decided that confronting him at work, or actually bothering to announce themselves, was just too much of a hassle. So they instead busted down his door 45 minutes before the sun came up, without announcing that they had a search warrant, or that they were police. Now, what does a man that believes in defending himself with guns do when someone busts down his door at 6 a.m.?
Hello.
So Brian, like many gun owners, thinking that someone's breaking into his home, begins firing at the ATF agents and wounding one of them. The agents, once again, having not announced that they were there to serve a warrant or that they were police, opened fire on Brian, hitting him in the head. Brian was taken to the hospital and was being kept alive by life support, but ended up passing away shortly after. An attorney for the family said the following: "The loss of a loved one is always difficult, but this suddenness and the lack of explanation for why this had to happen has made this so much harder on the family. It would be difficult to convince me that there was any basis to come at 6 a.m., 45 minutes before first light, over an hour before sunrise, to a private home under these facts and circumstances. The tactics that the ATF chose to execute in this search warrant are outrageous for this level of accusation, this level of alleged violation, with all the other facts and circumstances about the knowledge they had of this individual and his patterns and his employment. There really is no excuse for this." I agree. Even if you feel Brian was guilty for his actions, we can look at how this was handled by the ATF and say, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. No-knock raids, which are meant for times where the cops believe their lives might be in danger or evidence might be destroyed, should just be banned outright. Consider the fact that Brian had zero criminal record, no record of violent behavior, and had given no reason for anyone to believe that he would have just become aggressive. They could have just as easily served him the warrant by knocking at his door or serving it to him while he was at work. They could have done anything other than what they ended up doing, and it would have turned out better without tragedy. And no, someone just legally owning guns isn't a justification for treating them as aggressive. From killing dogs to massacring kids to violating your rights to lighting buildings on fire, the history of the ATF looks like it's going to continue to be a bloody one until something is done about them and how they operate. A federal agency that exists solely to violate our rights has no right to exist at all. To be honest, Brian had the right idea. And while I might pride myself on being able to come up with something clever at the end of a video, I think that Pageosity said it best in Heather Lynn O's most recent video.
No, we got the ATF to say you can't put a fucking solvent trap on your goddamn gun. Fuck you, fuck taxes, fuck the feds. I'm over it.
You blew my mind. 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 You blew my mind.